Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. So today we are in a different location. I am taking a trip back to my hometown to see my family on my birthday. We are all vaccinated and able to see each other again, so it's a very happy time. And while I'm here just relaxing, chilling in the suburbs, I thought I would get some reading done. So today's vlog, as you can probably tell by the title, is a John MARRS taste test. So obviously I've already read and loved a few of John MARRS's sci-fi thrillers, but I've never tried his more traditional, purely like domestic thrillers or crime thrillers. So my TBR for this video is What Lies Between Us and The Good Samaritan. I'm gonna be trying out a little taste test of a different style of John MARRS writing and letting you guys know my thoughts. So I'm gonna be starting out with What Lies Between Us, and I've heard very mixed things about this one, so I don't quite know how I'm gonna feel about it, but it basically follows a kind of toxic relationship between a mother and daughter and all of the weird events that follow. I'm trying not to give away like too much because I feel like in John MARRS books, plot twists start from like the very first chapter. So that is my very vague synopsis. I'm gonna read this in the pool and I will be back with an update when I am at the 50% mark. Hello vlog, I have an update for you. Sorry, I'm wearing no makeup and my hair is all wet. I got out of the pool and this is just how the update's gonna be, sorry. But I am actually halfway through What Lies Between Us by John MARRS, and it's a little weird, to be honest. I don't really know if I like it or not, which is pretty surprising for me because I have liked John MARRS like more sci-fi thrillers, but this domestic thriller is just like very weird. Also, it's not very nuanced. You can just tell that the female characters, which we haven't had one male character in this book so far, every single character is female. And you can just tell that they were written by a man, and this man does not have a very deep understanding of female things. Like there's a lot of talk about pregnancy, periods, menopause, miscarriages, like all of these women's issues. And it does kind of make me feel weird that it's from a man's mind. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I don't like that very much, so that is how I'm feeling at the halfway point. Although the thriller like storyline is like not bad, like I don't have any complaints about how the story is structured. It's moving along pretty quickly. I can usually read like a lot as I'm laying out or in the pool, so I'm kind of speeding through this right now. So yeah, the story is pretty fast paced, but I don't know, it's just kind of making me feel weird. So that is my halfway update for you. Hopefully I will finish it either today or tomorrow, and we will move on to The Good Samaritan because I think that has more of like a serial killer kind of plot line, and I think I'll like that better, especially with John MARRS' writing style instead of something like this, which is just giving me weird vibes. We have 3 dogs and a cam back there. It has started to storm, so we're just inside chilling. Sorry if the lighting is horrible because it's so dark. That's better. Now I just wanted to come on here and update you about What Lies Between Us. I'm at the 75% mark and it's gotten crazy. Like, the amount of twists, the amount of reveals is insane. It is very much the like classic John MARRS style of super short chapters with a big twist at the end of every single one. So it's going really, really quickly, and I am a lot more interested in it now than I was before. The pregnancy and infertility issues have kind of been explained, and well, I didn't really like the explanation. At least that content is out of the way, and it's much more like thrillery. I can tell it's in a domain that John MARRS knows a little bit more about, so it's not as like forced. But I do find it really interesting still that he chose to write a story that is so deeply ingrained with women's issues. I don't know, it just seems a little bit weird to me, but it is a lot better now that that kind of stuff is kind of in the past and it's been explained. And now I'm just trying to figure out what is gonna happen in the current moment. And it's definitely very exciting. So hopefully the next update, I will have a final rating for you. Hello guys, remember me? It's me from the intro. Yeah, I just filmed that intro and now I'm gonna tell you my final thoughts about what lies between us, because I actually ended up finishing this one last night. So I know at the 75% mark, I was feeling a little bit better about it, but unfortunately the ending was just not the greatest. I definitely understood why John MARRS chose that route for the ending, but I was kind of rooting for one character the entire time, and so it was really disappointing to not see them kind of have the victory that I was rooting for. And I feel like that's like what you want out of a thriller, right? We're like following the protagonist or who we think is the protagonist and rooting for them, and either something changes where we stop rooting for them because they're actually the bad guy, or we want to see the protagonist win. And unfortunately, that's just not what happened in this book. So the ending was a little bit weird for me. However, I did like all of the lead up to the ending. Like, the last probably like third of the book was very exciting, very thrilling, heart pumping, tons of twists. I loved it. But the very beginning, like the first 50% and the last couple chapters kind of ruined it for me. It's pretty average overall, just averaging out what I thought about every chunk of the book. I landed on a 3.5 star rating, but I definitely think there's a bigger conversation here about men writing from women's perspectives and about issues that they probably don't truly understand. Let me know what you think about that in the comments, because that's something that I was really picking up on and was making me really uncomfortable throughout reading this book. And then also last night I started The Good Samaritan, and this book follows a suicide hotline operator, and instead of kind of trying to remind people of the good things in their life, you know, focus on the positive and process the negative and kind of be that empathetic, non-judgmental, therapeutic presence, instead this operator convinces those people to go through with the suicide. So she's basically like a low-key serial killer, and she's never gonna get caught because obviously she's not physically there. Every single death gets ruled as a suicide. So it's very weird, but I think one of the family members of somebody that actually ended up killing themselves because of her is kind of catching on, and he's kind of on her tail now. So this is starting out so much better than what lies between us. I'm so excited. We are hopefully gonna end this vlog on a good note because I'm really liking this. It is super fast paced and interesting, and our main character is unlike any other main character that I've ever read because she has this like sweet, good-natured persona. Like, to everyone in her life, they just think she's like a good Samaritan, but she's actually a killer, and she's so cold-hearted and crazy. So it's a really interesting perspective to read from, and I'm really liking it. So hopefully I will get further into it today. I'm only about 50 pages. Yeah, I'm only about 50 pages in right now, but I will update you when I'm at the 50% mark. How did I know that was gonna happen? I'm about a quarter of the way through The Good Samaritan, and this book is dark. It is really dark. It is disturbing, and I like that. So it's going well. I will update you at the 50% mark. Hey guys, it is the next morning. I'm sorry I look crusty yet again. I'm just not feeling putting on makeup or doing my hair while I'm on vacation. Yes, this is my suburban staycation. It's totally fine. But I reached the halfway point of The Good Samaritan, and we got a new perspective introduced. So now we're following our serial killer queen, and we're also following one of the family members of one of the people that she encouraged to commit suicide. So it's intense, but it's also still like very repetitive because we heard the same story from the killer's perspective, and then we just read another 70-80 pages of hearing that same story from another perspective, which it was definitely interesting to get that perspective, but I don't think it needed to be the same length. This is a really long book, and I think it's just getting a little bit repetitive for me. Like, you could infer a lot of what the second perspective was probably feeling without them having to tell you. I don't know how I feel. It's a little bit dragging, but I'm hoping now that I'm at part 2, which just happened to be at the perfect halfway point, like it starts over at chapter 1 again, that we're gonna get some new information. It's gonna be a little bit more exciting. So I'm going to get my swimsuit on, go back down by the pool for another wonderful day, and hopefully I will finish this book and give you guys a final update. Hey guys, it is the next morning and I have finished The Good Samaritan. So let me go ahead and sit you down and I will give you my final rating and final thoughts. I feel like this is such a weird little filming spot here on the floor by the guest room bed, and Boba is of course crawling all around, but we're in a different place, so we're just gonna roll with it. Let's go ahead and talk about The Good Samaritan. So around the 50% mark, it did the same thing as What Lies Between Us, where it was really kind of repetitive and boring in the first 50%, and then in the last 50%, it just goes off the rails. And this one really went crazy. Like, the twists at the end of this book where I felt really reminiscent of the one, and seeing kind of like the revenge that these two people were getting on each other and how it just went crazier and crazier and crazier, and the whole situation just kind of spun out of control. It kind of reminded me of Something in the Water by Catherine Steadman, the way that it's like that kind of moral dilemma of like, okay, I've taken this a little bit too far now, what do I do? And I really like thrillers that have that kind of real world aspect of like, this has gone too far, what would I do in that situation? Obviously I would never end up in this kind of situation, but it's fun to think about, and it was definitely very thrilling, very crazy, very twisty. So I really ended up liking the last 50%, especially like the last few chapters. Oh my God, the epilogue. I usually hate epilogues in thrillers, but this one, that final reveal really got me. So I'm happy to say that I enjoyed this book so much more than What Lies Between Us, and I actually rated this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I just took off that 0.5 because it wasn't quite a 5-star read. It was that boring, repetitive feeling for the first 50%. I think if we cut out 80 pages of this book, it would be so much better. But nevertheless, I still really enjoyed my time reading it, and it's interesting to think about the kind of similarities and differences within this vlog. You know, we read 2 books by the same author, John MARRS, and I really enjoyed his previous books that I read, which are more sci-fi, and both of these were totally different. And I can say pretty confidently I do not enjoy his more domestic traditional thrillers as much as I enjoy his more sci-fi thrillers. So maybe in the future I will just pick up the sci-fi and be a little bit more cautious about the domestic. However, I think this one is a real standout. If you can track down The Good Samaritan and find this book and you want to give it a try, I think if you're a thriller lover, you will absolutely be entertained at the very least. However, if you did skim the beginning of part 2, I wouldn't necessarily blame you. But other than that, that is going to be the end of this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed getting this little author taste test reading vlog so you can see what I think of these authors' books that I'm reading in real time. And then when I finish all of John MARRS' backlist, I will do a ranking his backlist video where I tell you my ratings, reviews, and rankings for every single one of John MARRS' books. So if you like this concept and you want me to keep doing more of them, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.